Anneliese Dodds, Labour MEP for the South East. A bit of background on you, because you're new to this position. You take it up in July. Who are you? Where have you come from?
Yeah, well, I'm not a professional politician. You're right, this is very new for me. I work as an academic, so I work in higher...
Malta, your light just went off. Oh. I'm really sorry. It'll be third time lucky. Okay. Anneliese Dodds, Labour MEP for the South East. You're new to this post. You officially take it up in July. A bit of background on you to start with. Where do you come from? What have you been doing up till now?
Yeah, well, I'm not a professional politician. This is my first foray into any kind of European politics, so I'm learning very, very quickly. I work as an academic normally, so I've just finished being a lecturer in higher education, and I'm also a mum. I gave birth a year ago to a little baby boy, Freddie. So yes, it is very new for me to be getting used to how things work here in Brussels.
And your priorities, your areas of interest from your past career perhaps and your lifetime experience, how is that going to shape the kind of work you're hoping to do over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for me is to make sure that young people across the South East have access to the opportunities that they deserve. As I mentioned, I have worked in higher education before, and I really see the impact, particularly of the recession, on young people, where many of them are very worried about whether they'll be able to get a job or not, and lots of them aren't actually getting access to the opportunities for apprenticeships and for further education that they deserve. So that really is going to be my number one priority. I want our young people to have exactly the same access to opportunities as young people anywhere else in Europe, and I want them to get the best start in life.
How could Europe perhaps help in that in ways that it hasn't done so far? How are you going to be championing, for example, young people on behalf of your region?
Well, one thing that Labour MEPs push very hard for is what is being called the European Youth Employment Guarantee. Now, that's a measure which would mean young people would get help when they're unemployed after 4 months. Unfortunately, in Britain, young people have got to wait for 6 months before they get that help. I'd really like to see us have that measure in place now in Britain. We're the only country not to have it, and I think that really is a shame for our young people. I think we also need to do what we can to bring European investment into our region, and we need to protect those jobs that depend on European trade, where we've got a lot of big manufacturers in the South East, as well as, of course, small and medium-sized firms. I want to work with them so we can get the best from Europe and get those high-quality jobs into our region.
And of course, Europe covers a lot of different aspects that can relate back to people in the South East. But do you think people appreciate that? And do you see that perhaps as part of your job in translating, I suppose, what you're doing out here to your constituents back in the South East?
Yes, I mean, I think Europe affects us all the time. It affects us from the moment that we get up to the moment when we go to bed every day, whether it's regulations or economic policy, many, many different measures that have an impact on us. And I actually think it's very, very important that MEPs are talking about how Europe affects us and making sure that people have an impact on European policy from the point of view of accountability. Because ultimately, I'm here to represent the people of the South East, and they need to know if I'm making decisions that will affect them and have an opportunity to impact on those decisions. It's really, really important.